wow, that is freaking amazing. And again, that costs $99. So if you're gonna buy a snake, you have to budget about $99 to have a really cool starter setup. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is absolutely incredible. You know, a lot of people have asked me, I want to set up a baby ball python. What do I need? What is it going to cost me? And I thought I would do a little bit of a challenge today. I have $100 in my hand, and I am going to see if I can get a basic setup for a baby ball pythons. What do you need? What do you need to get? What is it going to cost you? What are the best things you can do to save money? So today I'm going to take you on this journey, starting with getting a tank, a screen top, and then walking you right through everything you need to get a baby ball python and try to save you some money with some tips and ideas. So what do you guys say that we figure this out together and have an amazing time? Let's push all our problems aside and see if I can spend this $100 and not go over budget, because I ain't got any other money left, guys, so this has to work out. Go ahead down in the comments and tell me something awesome about you guys today. While you're down there, can you smash that like button? What do you say we just go ahead and get started and see if we can spend this money? Alright guys, so the first thing that you need if you're going to keep any reptiles, and in particular a ball python is what we're talking about today, is of course a tank. Now I'm going to be honest with you, with $100 to buy a tank and a screen top from a pet shop is probably going to kill your budget. So the best thing you can do is really jump on Craigslist or any other place that you can buy used stuff, because they always have great deals on stuff like this. I mean, literally, I'm jumping on Tina's computer here. Now I'm just going to go to Craigslist. I'm just going to search for a tank. What I really would like is a used 10-gallon aquarium with a screen top, preferably as new as possible for as cheap as possible. So let's see if we can find something. Thanks. I'll be over there in 15 minutes. How's that sound? Okay, great. All right, see you then. Bye. Alright guys, great news. I ended up, there was like 5 different options on there, and there was one that was actually marked that they had almost a brand new 10-gallon and screen top, and they only wanted 20 bucks, and they're like 5 miles away, which is good because it's kind of not too far out of the way to go to the pet shop, because we're going to need some stuff there. So we are good to go. I've got the address. Let's get in the car, go grab this tank. Hey guys, just picked up the tank and it looks absolutely incredible. Looks like it's hardly used. The screen top is perfect. This was definitely a score for 20 bucks. Let's go ahead and head over to PetSmart and get the rest of our supplies. So we got our tank and screen top, that works out great. Let's head into PetSmart and get a couple other things that we need that we have to buy at PetSmart. But we're gonna try to buy as smart as we possibly can and save as much money, because hey, I've only got 80 bucks left. Idea. This is the tank, kind of similar, which is a tank and a screen top. That costs $42, so we saved $22 by going with the used tank that looks like brand new. We do need a heating pad, we need a water bowl, a hide box, and a thermometer here. I can't really get that online, and I really like to buy new heating pads. I don't want to buy a used one because you don't want it to fail. So let's see what they have. Okay, I'm going to try to make this kind of, look kind of naturalistic and stuff like that. So this is a pretty good water ball right here. It's big enough for it to get in. It looks kind of cool. It's only 7 bucks, so I think we're still on budget with that. Definitely still need a hide box, and I need a heating pad and a thermometer. And again, you got to remember, we're talking about a baby ball python, so we can either go with a hide box that's like this, that's a rock, or we can go with this. I kind of like this right here, to be totally honest with you, and it's a little cheaper. It's only 10 bucks as opposed to $17 for that. I got to stay within this $100 budget. I think we're good to go here. Heating pad and thermometer. So this is what we have here. We have a small heating pad here, or these options here. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's a small cage. It's only a 10-gallon, so you don't need a lot of space. You want a hot spot. We're going to go with the light as well, so I think this one is going to be just completely fine right here, and it's only 15 bucks, so this one's going to work. And the last thing we need is a thermometer. It's important to know what the temperature is in your tank, so that's a pretty important thing. So there's a lot of options here. You can go expensive with like heat guns. You can go all the way up to here, go here. I like the digital stuff. I tell you what, it might bust our budget a little bit. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm going to go with this thermometer right here. This is a digital thermometer, and it has a probe, so that way we can actually put the probe on the hot spot or whatever we want. 12 bucks as opposed to spending $8 or $9 for something that isn't quite as good. I think it's worth the extra money. So I think we're wrapped up here. Let's see how much this costs. All right. Thank you. right, so that was a little more expensive than I thought. That was $50, which means our budget is up to $70. I have $30 left. I've got to get a light, so I better be really good on my budget, and I've got to get bedding, but I think we're gonna head to Home Depot for the light. So far, so good. We have our tank, we have our supplies. All we need is a light, a bulb for heating, just to make sure the air temperature is good, and then we need bedding. We've got 30 bucks to go. If I would have bought a light at Petco, it would have probably been $40, $50. So I think I'm gonna go to Home Depot, buy a dome top that shouldn't be more than about 10 bucks, I'm hoping, and then a light bulb that's gonna be completely fine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and buy some Reptile Prime bedding just because I'm gonna pimp my own product. But hopefully we can stay under the $30 budget we have left. And so far so good. I mean, I thought I could get a little bit cheaper, but I'm okay with it. Again, I think we're gonna stay at that $100 budget. So let's go ahead and see what kind of light we can get from Home Depot. So here are some of the hoods here, and you can kind of see they start at $6, $7, all the way up to $14 at Petco or PetSmart. These are going to be like 20, 25 bucks, so we're going to save a ton of money. And I think honestly, because it's only a 10 gallon, this is going to be completely fine. We only need about a 50 watt bulb for this cage, so that's $7. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and buy the slightly bigger one because it's only $9. It's only a couple dollars more, just in case we need something bigger. And if we ever want to move it up, you want to always try to recycle and using something else. So $9, we're doing pretty good. I mean, that still gives us $21 left. We've got to buy a bulb, and then the bedding is 15 bucks. So I was able to find some 60 watt bulbs for $5 for 4 of them. Remember, you don't want to get the LEDs because they don't put off heat. This should work for now, and if we need to change it, we can. But this gives you an idea how much they cost. Okay, so that was $14. That means we have $16 left, and all we have is bedding, and I happen to know that Reptile Prime is $15. So we are gonna be at $99 for this build. Not too shabby. Again, I told you $100 budget. Boy, I really cut that right to the end. That was pretty good. Let's get back and go ahead and set this up. Okay guys, so we have everything that we need now as far as the tank and all the stuff in the inside. Now one of the things is whenever you buy a new tank, no matter how clean it looks, this one looks absolutely almost unused, I'm still gonna disinfect it because I don't wanna take any chances. So you can use any kind of a cleaner. I mean, you can even use like a bleach to water solution, about 10% bleach to water. Just be careful of your hands from chemical standpoint, so wear gloves. We use a Quatricide. You can use F10, you can use whatever kind of veterinary cleaner you want, but just make sure you clean everything, the tank, the screen, everything, just in case there's ever been anything that you don't want to transfer to your animal. Keeping in mind that with this setup here, we are going for a baby ball python. This is not going to house an adult ball python. You're eventually going to have to move up, but this is the perfect size for a baby ball python if you're getting a pet snake, and it's going to work out perfectly. It's going to be able to stay in here for probably anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on the animal. You may have to do a couple little increases, like increase the size of the hide box, the water bowl, something on that lines, but this will get you started. So let's go ahead, wash this tank up really good, and then we'll start to get everything set up and show you how to do this. If you're going to get a ball python, you need to know how to set it up. Okay, so we have everything set out here, ready to go. Tank is washed, dry, looks good. So what the first thing we're gonna do is really look at this under the tank heater right there. And it's just a mini heat pad, as they say. And basically what you wanna do is have it underneath the tank so that there's a hot spot that your snake can actually sit on. Me personally, I like to keep that hot spot on the same side as the hide, which is gonna be this hide right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the underside here. And then when we're building out the tank, we're gonna put the hide box on the same side as that. And then we're also going to put the heat lamp on the same side too, so that way there's the warmest air, the hot spot from underneath, and then they can get to the cool side of the cage, which is where the water bowl is going to be. And that's basically what it is. And with these hot spots like this, they basically just heat up to about 95 degrees, so there's a built-in thermocouple with them. It doesn't get too hot. The good news is the majority of these guys, even if they break, only get up to about 100 degrees, which should never burn your animal or anything like that, but be aware of it. I mean, if your animal feels really hot or if you see something, keep an eye on it. It's really important. You don't want that to ever happen, but like I said, most of them have a pretty good fail-safe. Now, let's go ahead and just get this set up real quick. And these guys are pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. They usually have like a little adhesive on the bottom side. You just stick it to the bottom of the tank, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't take any kind of engineering degree to do that. We'll do this. Unpackaging is the hardest part, and you can just see right here. And what you'll do is you'll just peel off this white layer right here, and it's actually sticky, and then we'll stick it on the bottom of the cage itself. So let's go ahead and peel this off. Okay, there you go. And what I normally like to do, to be totally honest with you, is just kind of put it in the center somewhere in between the two sides. Now make sure that the cord has enough room that it can wrap around this side. Now the tank will actually sit on it. You can notch it out if you like, but it's really not that big of a deal. It's going to be completely fine. And if you notice, the glass is actually indented a little bit. You never want to put a pad like this to where it's sandwiched in between something in the ground, because then it's going to heat up and it can over combust and stuff like that. Because the air is the perfect way to make sure that it doesn't overheat, if that makes any sense. So let's go ahead and just stick this on. And then I want to just kind of press it on really good. Make sure there's really good adhesive there. You don't want this to fall off, obviously. And then again, this cord is just going to eventually plug into the wall. You don't need a thermostat. You don't need anything. It's all kind of built in right here. So that's it. So that's basically that side. And now what we want to do is basically put the bedding in. Now I'm going to use Reptile Prime. Again, it's our company that does bedding. It's a dust-free coconut fiber. It's great for ball pythons. It keeps the humidity up, but it doesn't get too wet so that you don't have problems, because you don't want your snake like sitting on wetness, but you want the humidity to be up so that it's about 50-60%. It'll shed well and all that other stuff. So we want probably about 1.5 inch or 2 inch layer on the bottom of this tank. And that's about good right there. You can kind of see that right there. You've got, you know, a good 1.5 or 2 inches of bedding. And what you can do is you can actually just spray this down with warm water. That's going to kind of get that humidity up. You know, again, the thing I love about this particular product, you can see there's absolutely no dust. A lot of the coconut fiber products out there, not that there's anything wrong with them, but when you do this, you'll see a lot of dust in the air. Number one, the animals breathe that dust in. Number two, it doesn't absorb the water, so it makes it a little bit more soupy so that the bedding isn't quite as good. And lastly, it just gets kind of over the cage. So this is really clean. You can certainly see that there's no dust particles around the tank, which really just makes it easier for the clean standpoint and makes it just look a little bit more streamlined. So that we have the under tank, we have the bedding, you basically just want to add the other accessories and so on like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take this off of this log. Now these logs are typically pretty treated. You don't really have to worry about like putting them in the oven. If you ever go outside and get a branch from outside, you want to make sure that there's no pests in it, right? So one thing you can do is put it at very low temperatures, like 200 degrees in your oven for 10 or 15 minutes, and it'll basically bake that and kill any parasites or bugs that might be in the wood. But the good news about this is these are all pre-baked, and you know, the pet shops of the world are certainly not selling, you know, wood chunks that are full of stuff. But you know, you can always be safe if you want to. Still not a bad idea to give it a little spritz and spray down, because you can actually do that with the cleaner right here. But again, I'm going to want to put this hide right on the same side as that hot spot there, and then ultimately when I put my light on, I'm going to want to put my light in the same spot as well. So again, it has the hot side of the cage and it's got the cold side of the cage. So really we're getting close. You can see that the setup is pretty simple. It's not that expensive and it's really practical. Right now we definitely are going to have a good hot spot. We're hopefully going to have a good cool spot, and we're going to have the humidity right because of the bedding that we choose. So now let's go ahead and add the water. I definitely suggest the same thing as the tank. Make sure you give a spray down with some quatricide, some kind of bleach solution, something like that. You want to make sure that it's washed really well. You really don't know if there's any potential chemicals that were in this during the production of it or while it was sitting on a shelf or whatever it is. So just give it a really nice wash. Make sure that everything is super, super clean. And then just fill it up with water. You know, a lot of people ask me, can I just use tap water? And the truth is, the answer is usually yes. I mean, make sure that your water is good, right? If you're drinking the water and it's clean and it doesn't kill you, chances are it's going to be okay for the ball python. People like to give spring water, purified water, and that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact is, the majority of well water or tap water is safe for humans to consume. And if it's safe for humans to consume, certainly it's safe for snakes to consume. But if you have any concerns, a dechlorinized water or spring water or whatever, it's fine, 100% fine. But for me, I know our water is good, so I'm going to just fill it up this much. I want enough water for it to be able to get in there and soak if it wants to. It may do that during a shed cycle, or maybe if it just wants to get a little soak, it does every now and then. And also make sure that you change the water at least every couple days. You don't want any kind of stagnant water, and certainly if it ever soils the water, you want to change it immediately. Again, scrubbing it out really well, making sure that there's no kind of bacteria in there and so like that. And then that's basically it. Now we're just going to add the water to the cold side of the cage. Now again, this is a setup for a ball python. Now if you have a really high humidity animal, let's say a Brazilian rainbow, you may want to have the water on the hot side of the cage so more water evaporates and increases the humidity, or you can just spray your bedding down a little more, whichever you happen to do. Regardless, this is a setup for ball pythons. I want to help you guys that are thinking, hey, I want a cool ball python setup and I want one that is not that expensive. This works out well for ball python. And basically the last thing is again going to be this light bulb. Now again, remember, you don't want an LED bulb because that's going to not give off heat. And basically that's all this particular light bulb is about, is radiating heat. So if you want to go with a UV bulb, that's completely fine. A lot of snakes don't need the UVB, or at least don't seem to need it. They can thrive without it. But if you want to give it to them, it's not going to hurt them, and it could benefit them. As a matter of fact, there is some studies now, they can actually still benefit from UVB. So again, if you want to add that, that's fine, but that's going to cost more. A UVB light is probably going to be $40 to $50, and we're trying to keep this budget down. Again, I want things to be healthy, so if you think, hey, UVB is awesome, I've got the extra 50 bucks, please add it to your setup. But for now, this is going to be absolutely perfect. And then when we put this thermometer in here, we can not only check on the hot spot over on this side, but we could actually mount this on the cool side of the cage and check the cool side and the hot spot at the same time. That way we know, hey, we want this to be 90, 92 degrees maybe as a basking spot, and we want this side to be maybe down in the low 80s, so we want that to go on. So basically after that, the screen top goes on, this goes on, and then we want to put some clamps on here, put the snake in, and we're good. What do you say we go get a snake and see how he likes it? When it comes to getting a ball python, I get asked all the time, like, which one should I get? You know, I want to make sure it's a good one. And the truth is, you know, I always say that a normal ball python is a great animal, and all of the rest of them are just basically normal ball pythons with really cool paint jobs. That's basically what it is. So whatever one you might be able to afford. You know, a normal ball python is going to be anywhere from, like, you know, $40 on the very low end up to maybe $65, $70 on the high end, something like that for a baby ball python. And make sure you get a good captive ball python from a good source, no matter what you happen to get. But then if you wanted to go a little bit higher and get some really cool animals, there's so many incredible options when it comes to ball pythons. I mean, hey, look at these piebald ball pythons like Smiley here, my smiley face piebald ball python. I mean, these guys are starting at maybe $300, $350 and go up to maybe $500, $600 depending on the color, the phase, the sex, because typically females are more expensive than males, but you know, that's certainly an option. And you know, I just wanted to go through this setup with you guys because a lot of times people budget for the actual animal and then they don't budget for the setup, right? So, you know, again, the animal itself is completely up to you, and there's so many great options. I mean, whether you want to go with a single gene animal like an Enchi here, which is a co-dominant mutation, these guys again have gotten to be pretty inexpensive, so they're a great option if you decide, hey, I don't want a normal, but I don't want to spend a ton of money. Another really cool option is like a pinstripe ball python. Look at how amazing that animal is as far as the color, but these have become very pet trade friendly and pretty darn affordable, which is pretty awesome. But then you can go all the way up to crazy money where you get into the tens of thousands of dollars if you want. Certainly something crazy like this super pastel, black pastel, bamboo woma is a pretty awesome option. But again, I doubt you're going to be putting this in a 10-gallon tank. But hey, who knows? Even if you have a lot of snakes and you just want a cool display, maybe you're going to want to put something like this. As a matter of fact, let's use this animal and see how it looks in that cage. Again, I don't have this plugged in and the heat's not on or anything like that, but just wanted to give you guys an idea of what things look like. As you can see, this ball python here is about 4 months old, so he is still pretty much a little pup, you know? But you can see it's kind of the perfect size for that animal right there. Again, it has the wood that it can hide under. It can climb on top to get to the basking light where the heat is, or it can climb under and get that underneath heat, which it really needs. It can come over here, it can soak in the water, or it can drink water. It can even burrow in that reptile prime bedding, which is really good. And you can kind of just see how amazing that is. If you want to display and you're like, hey, Brian, I don't want to keep it in a tub or a rack system, look at how cool that looks. Wow, that is freaking amazing. And again, that costs $99. So if you're gonna buy a snake, you have to budget about $99 to have a really cool starter setup. So I hope that kind of helped you guys out. Now you know how to set up a ball python if you want to get a pet ball python or a cool little display cage if that is what you want. And again, you can do it all for under $100. Or for that matter, you can just build a pond in your basement and get a pet alligator. That would work too. And with that that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here. And hey, even if you didn't take a lot out of this because you're keeping a bunch of reptiles, you can share it with someone that did. If you have someone that says, hey, I want to get a fur snake, but I don't know what to do, I don't know what setup, how much it's gonna cost, go ahead and share this video with them. And in the meantime, I hope that you guys at least enjoyed this kind of adventure with me. Tomorrow we'll get back to some regular snake work if you guys don't mind. For the rest of the week, we've got some busy work here and we're starting next door, so it's gonna be absolutely incredible. And I hope that you guys have an absolutely amazing day, evening, night, whatever you happen to be watching. Your guys' support, watching, and doing everything means the world to me, and I love you guys so much. Can you do me a couple favors before we get out of here? Can you smash that like button, as well as turn those post notifications on so you know when I upload a video, which is every day, 7 days a week at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Remember to be kind to someone today, and I promise I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.